Okay, boys and girls, now that you've had a chance to look over your quizzes and see what mistakes you've made, you are allowed to take notes from this lesson on your 1 page of notes you are allowed on your test. I want to start and go over addition and subtraction of fractions and mixed numbers very quickly. Let's say you have a fraction with a common denominator, for example, 1/7 plus 3/7. When you are adding these fractions, you add the numerators. 1 plus 3 is 4. Your denominator does not change. Once they are common, the denominator stays the same, and your answer is 4/7. A common mistake we made on our quiz was 1/7 plus 3/7. You then made it 4/14. And this is incorrect. So please make sure you make note of the fact that your denominator stays a 7. The same holds true when subtracting fractions. If you had something like 4/9 minus 2/9, again, you would subtract your numerators. 4 minus 2 is 2, and your denominator would stay a 9. Let's say that we are adding fractions with unlike denominators. What you're going to do then is first find your common denominator, and then when adding or subtracting, that denominator stays the same. For example, if I have 2/5 plus 3/15, what you're going to do then is find a common denominator between 5 and 15. So my least common denominator would be 15. So we need to make sure that we are multiplying by 3 and by 3. So my 2 times 3 would become 6/15 plus 3/15. Go ahead and add them. 6 plus 3 is 9, and my 15 stays as my denominator. See if you can simplify once you're done, which in this case I can. I can divide by 3/3, and my answer then would be 3/5. Another common mistake we made on our quizzes was when adding and subtracting our mixed numbers, we turn them into improper fractions first. That itself is not a mistake. However, the mistake we made was we made too many big numbers and we didn't know how to either turn them into an improper fraction correctly or turn them back into a mixed number correctly. So let's review really quickly how to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction and an improper fraction back to a mixed number. So if I have the mixed number 3 2/5, using our ma, you're going to take 5 times 3, which is 15, and then we're going to add 2, which would give us 17. Keep our denominator, and our new fraction would be 17/15. That is incorrect. I apologize, boys and girls, not over 15. It would be 17/5. Now, when we are turning an improper fraction back to a mixed number, let's say, for example, we have 65/10. So I set up my division problem. 65 divided by 10. And I know 10 goes into 65 6 times. 6 times 10 is 60. I subtract and I get 5. I take my remainder and I go directly to setting up my fraction of remainder over divisor. Do not add any extra numbers in that division. I don't add a 0 here. That would be incorrect. Some of us, when we're simplifying and going back to our mixed number, we're adding extra zeros in there, and that is not correct. Once you have 6 5/10, you then simplify just the fraction part to be then 6 1/2. That then takes us to adding and subtracting your mixed numbers. Let's say that I have 8 1/5 plus 2 2/15. Instead of turning my mixed numbers into improper fractions, first just find a fraction with a common denominator. Common denominator between 5 and 15 in this case would be 15. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 3 over 3. And I'm going to get 8 3/15. And then I want to add my 2 2/15. Start by adding your fraction portion first. 3 plus 2 is 5 over 15, and then 8 plus 2 is 10. See if you can simplify your fraction, which I can, and my new answer would be 10 1/3. Another mistake made on the quiz was that we forgot to estimate when the directions said to estimate. So please make sure you read the directions when the directions say to estimate. If you have a mixed number, 2 4/5, remember your two choices will either be 2 or 3. And that will all be dependent on your fraction of 4/5. If your numerator is closer to your denominator, you round up. If your numerator is closer to 0, you round down. In this particular case, 4/5, 4 is almost 5, so I would round up to 3, and I would make this a 3. If I had the mixed number 8 2/7, again, I only have two choices, either 8 or 9. Looking at 2, is it closer to 0 or 7? 2 is closer to 0, so I would round this answer down to 8. So please make sure when your directions say to estimate, there will only be a few of these on the test. You then need to estimate. Mixed numbers go to whole number choices, and fractions go to either 0, 1/2, or 1 whole. The last thing I will leave you with before your test is this. If you are converting, when you are converting from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure, you will divide. If you are converting from a large unit of measure to a small unit of measure, you will multiply. So please make sure you have those notes handy, and good luck on your test.